Now we come to the third and final member of the Eleatic school, Melissus. Melissus lived in the 5th century BC on the island of Samos. In his youth, he served in the navy and even took part in war. In fact, he played a key role in the Peloponnesian War, where he successfully defeated the fleet of Pericles. Philosophically, there isn't much difference between Melissus and Parmenides, except for a few key points. However, it's important to note that both Plato and Aristotle came to understand the Eleatic school largely through the writings of Melissus. Like Xenophanes and Parmenides before him, Melissus also wrote a book titled On Nature. But unlike them, he did not write in poetry, he chose prose instead. Melissus' theory claimed that reality is ungenerated, indestructible, indivisible, one, changeless, and motionless. In other words, existence cannot come into being or be destroyed, it simply is. The main difference between him and Parmenides comes down to the question of time. Parmenides argued that time does not exist at all. For him, only the eternal present exists, the moment we are in has always existed and always will. Melissus, however, disagreed. He believed that time does exist and is infinite. He argued that time passes, made up of countless small instances, and that these instances stretch on forever. The second major difference concerns the limits of existence. Parmenides thought that being was finite, something like a circle with boundaries. Melissus, on the other hand, argued that existence is infinite. It has no edges, no boundaries, it is one, but it stretches everywhere, without limit. Despite these differences, both philosophers agreed on the essential Eleatic position: reality is one. There is no plurality, no true difference, no multiplicity. Reality does not change. There is no movement, no transformation from one form to another. Existence is complete, without void, and utterly uniform. Melissus also added that the one is incorporeal, it has no body. A body, he reasoned, always has limits, for example, my body ends here, and yours begins there. But since reality has no limits, it cannot be a body. Existence, therefore, is infinite and immaterial. However, this is where the fundamental weakness in Melissus' philosophy appears. On the one hand, he insisted that what exists is eternal, unchanging, and motionless. Yet at the same time, he accepted that time exists and moves forward. But if one moment is different from another, then there must be change, at least in the passing of time. By allowing for time, Melissus unintentionally contradicted his own principle that reality is changeless. Even so, Melissus made a very important contribution. Unlike his predecessors, he wrote his philosophy in prose. This made his ideas clearer and more accessible. Later philosophers, especially Plato and Aristotle, came to understand the basic philosophy of the Eleatic school, and particularly Parmenides' central ideas, largely through the writings of Melissus.